So, how are you?
I'm all right, hanging in there, just trying to stay strong, and, it's hard not to when you're so passionate about something, it's hard not to be consumed in it and wrapped up in it. I'm
Yeah.
trying to since it's not anything new, but since it's fresh on the way I'm speaking up and standing out about it, it's new in my life where I'm on that responsibility. So trying to and, you know, kind of balance it out without letting it just literally completely take over me.
Yeah. I can imagine
Um,
that.
I said I will make sure I continue to push the cause. It's not gonna stop here from me. Um, like that's the stand I took. I said I'm gonna say something. I told myself, when you speak up, you continue to speak up. It's not a weekend thing. It's not a one-time thing. Like you stand strong, you keep the momentum going, and that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, and I think, or I hope that maybe a lot of people are realizing it this time that, like, once it's not a trending topic anymore, like, we still have to be talking about it. We still have to be putting in the work. And I
Yeah,
know that that's obviously been said before, but for some reason, I think it's maybe finally clicking for some people that it didn't click for before.
yeah, for sure. Are you recording right now?
I am recording, yeah.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Yeah, for sure. But it's just it clicked for a lot of people. It just didn't click for anyone in our space because no one's spoken in our space. Not me, not any other blacks. I remember Elizabeth Ackenwald was speaking on it a while back.
Yeah, she wrote a letter to Black CrossFitters yesterday that I read.
Yeah, and it reminded me of something she had put out some years back. I don't know if it was an incident that happened. I can't remember, but she was talking about marketing and branding. The Black CrossFitters about marketing and branding.
Yeah.
How some women just take their clothes off, and then they're next thing you know, they're big sponsored athletes, and they're big marketing tools for the brands. And it's like, I'm not taking my clothes off, and as strong as the woman I am. And then she got into the kind of the black versus white marketing and branding of CrossFit and stuff like that. And I remember reading that. I don't know, I was always a fan of hers.
Me too.
Um,
And I remember that I think it was in 2015, right before she stopped competing, is when that article came out. And I remember reading it. And I was
I
like,
remember looking at that, and man, don't leave. Like, don't leave the space. But
I know, I know.
everybody has their point where they just kind of realize, like even in her article now, she stated, like, I've already known this in CrossFit. It's not going to change. This is not new to me. And a lot of us kind of looking at it as like it's new, but they've showed their colors already a few times. And
Yeah. And how do you, because I have my own feelings about it, but how do you feel about them being so quiet right now?
yeah, it's a lot of mixed feelings.
Yeah.
The number one feeling is it's just kind of like whatever, like whatever. Like, I don't honestly, I don't even want to shine any light on them at all. I was always one of those people where it was like, you stand up, you show the injustice. Put it like this. This is how I look at it. Someone comes on your Instagram page and says something crazy like, kill all gays. I don't know, something just
Yeah.
where it's like, what
Right.
would make you come do that? You don't have to say anything.
Mm-hmm.
Your following will speak more than loud and clear for you.
Right.
And so that's what we're going to see. Because in every gym, there are black people. And multiple gyms are owned by black people and coaches, athletes. And so, we have this relationship with people, personal relationships, and they're going to stand for us. And then they're going to look at CrossFit and say, what's going on? At the same time, I don't like following people until I've talked to them. So I always use the analogy, people coming late to my gym, coming late for class, and you punish them. Like, oh, you 50 burpee penalty, and or like, you know, like, why are you late? Like, come on, man, like, you got to get here on time. But what if that person walked in and was like, you know, my son just got in a car accident,
Right?
and you've already said something. You've already like jumped the gun and just like, you can't be late to class, or because you're late to class, go for a 400-meter run, or like, you know, hurry, like, you know, it's just like, don't do that. Just give them time, and we will see what happens. So I'm just sitting back. I'm doing my part. CrossFit is my space, so I'm speaking up so that more CrossFitters can get an understanding of what goes on in the Black community. But as far as speaking to corporations, I don't care. It's not that I don't care. It's like I'm not about to try to. I'm not about to try to get to a corporation and say, hey, you need to change this. You need to do that. Like, handle your business however you want to handle it. The people inside of it will see your true colors.
Yeah.
People that want to stand will see your true colors. The people that follow you and support you, that are not with what are not okay with your silence, will then speak up. So my job right now is just like anyone else's. Educate the people that follow me, that support me, that have relationships with me, and just educate them as much as possible. One of the things that have been going on forever. This is where I am.
Yeah, and I saw your post the other day that was, you know, in the vein of like, you know, I have these fears every single day. You know, what if this was me? You know, how would you feel if this was me? And I feel like we're seeing so many posts that are like really, really breaking it down for us. And like, as white people, I feel like we're really having our hands being held through this. And there's so many resources going around, and people are breaking it down in such simple terms, like your post, like the fact that you had to say, well, hey, it could have been me. Do you feel like that allowed it to click with some people? Do you feel like some people are empathizing that maybe didn't really understand the issue before?
Yeah. But that's how you tap into something.
Yeah.
Like, that's how you get someone to understand, right? You can't just say like I had no connections to George Floyd. I had no connections to Breonna Taylor. I didn't have connections to these people, but because they are Black, I understand. Because we are oppressed, I understand. Because they did not have justice and equal rights under the law, I understand that. So I'm able to identify with it right away. But for the people that follow me, which may be predominantly white, I'm in a predominantly white space, like, how do you feel any type of way about a Black person dying in the hands of the law? Even after seeing the video, like you watch this man die live.
Yeah.
Like, live on social media, you watch someone murdered, killed, like by death by knee to the neck. I think this is the first time. I think this is the first you've been a part of history to experience the first time of a man or someone dying by knee to the neck. You still don't have any feelings to it. It's like, oh, that sucks. Oh, that's so wrong. And it's like, let me go get a workout in. Let me go back to my daily life. Let me go back in my bubble. You know, like, that was sad. You know, I hope that never happens to anyone I know. So the first thing was, how can we tie this in so that you can get emotional, so that you can actually feel? Because what if I walked in that store and gave somebody a $20 bill? I know my money's real. I know I worked for it. I know it's mine, but I may have gotten change from someone else that didn't recognize it was fake, and now it's in my possession, and I use it to get it. Come to find out, the money was real. Even if it wasn't real, even if the money was fake, you killed a man for $20 so when it comes to things like that, where it's like, I get it, it's like, my following may not. So it's like, let me tap into you. What if it were me? What if I walked in that store, said, hey, I just want to buy this, and someone says, hey, this is fake, And of course, I'm like, no, it's not. Like, get out of here. Call the police. Well, obviously, he had time to call the police for the police to get there, so he didn't run. He didn't
Right.
get in his car and flee. So he's like, call the police. Like, I'm gonna hang out right here, like you say. Like, so, and however it transpired, however it happened, in order for me to get people to understand, like, what if it were me? Anyone could have been put in that situation. Now, if he would have been shooting at the police and a high speed chase, I wouldn't have made the same post because I know I wouldn't act in that behavior or do that. But yeah, it was like, what if it were me? Like, how would you feel? And then how would you respond?
And what
Like,
kind of
you know,
response did
like,
you get to that post, do you feel like? What kind of responses were you getting?
really, really good. I've had over 450 direct messages,
Wow.
reposts, shares that I've been trying to go through, respond to everyone, and just tell everyone thank you for the support. Continue to gain knowledge. I have had one person that I'm dealing with that's definitely, and right now we're in a back and forth on social media in our DMs, which is respectful. Putting it on the platform for people to see. It's in our DMs personally, but we're going back and forth asking each other questions. But this gentleman just very, very like he doesn't get it. And so it is my job to not really make him get it, but just out of his shoes. So you may not fully understand it, which is correct. You probably won't because you'll never have to actually experience it. Whether you haven't experienced it or you'll never have to experience it. But here's my thing. You have to come out of your shoes, step in mine, and see how I feel. And then you can go back in your shoes and say, that was kind of uncomfortable. And that's through conversation, that's through talk. So me and him are messaging back and forth, just having the conversation. And there were some things I wanted to say. It's just I don't feel like it can go through text, so it's really hard to have that conversation. But the gentleman has a kid, and I wanted to say to him, like, if your daughter married a black man, this happened to him. What if your daughter married a black man and had a black child, and this happens to your grandchild?
Yeah.
Does the perspective change, or do you say, hey, justice is served? You know, my grandchild should have died. Like, so it's just trying to get people to understand, like, once you have children, the game changes, man. It changes drastically. Like, everything you thought you believed in, thought you stood for, and all the religions and it's like, you got to put them to the side because you don't know who your child's going to be, what they're going to do, what may traumatize them, what they may come out to be. Like, you don't know. And no matter what, we know one thing is powerful than all, and that's love. Therefore, you better find a way to love that child through the hard times. You better find a way to love that child through the hardships and the mistakes they make and the things they did. And at once, we were all children. So it's like, how is that hard to comprehend?
Yeah. I feel like, I mean, you mentioned it before, you feel like your following is probably very white because our sport is like very white. Do you feel like, well, first let me ask you what your experience has been like as a black athlete in such a white sport. Like, do you feel like have you faced a lot of racism in the sport? Is it maybe more covert, like tokenism and lack of sponsorships? Like, what's your experience been like within CrossFit?
I find it like this, man. In the sport, it's a sport. If you don't got sponsors, it's because you don't have sponsors. Like, people find what they want to market. You know, they look for what they're trying to brand. So if you say I'm black, I don't get as many sponsors. I mean, I wouldn't look at the color of your skin. I would just look at maybe how you represent yourself or the level of the sport you've been on. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people, you haven't made it to the games. Like, you haven't been a games athlete. Like,
well, to
why would Nike sponsor
point, there's plenty of girls that haven't made it to the games, and they all get sponsored.
So yeah, and from her standpoint is different from a male standpoint.
Yes, you're right.
If like in that respect, for her standpoint is different from a male sport. So she can make that argument because a woman takes her clothes off and hits 100K followers like that. A guy can post all the shirt off stuff he wants. It's just not that way. Like, you know, so in her argument, she can make that standpoint, and that is very, very valid in her space. But in my space, it's just kind of like, did you put in the work? Did you put in the time?
Mhm.
Okay, like, you know, is this what you want? So I wouldn't say so much to answer your question that I've experienced racism. Tokenism, yes, probably. For sure. If you're the only one, if there's only one white guy on an all-black basketball team, he's the token white guy. You know, he's
Yeah, right.
like it just is what it is when you're in a space like that. So tokenism, yes, I would say that. But as far as like sponsorships and things like that, I feel like I've had really good opportunity. I feel like there's some brands that I may have signed with that really didn't fit what I thought they were. Initially, there's some brands that I signed with that I'm not with anymore that I speak the world of. If they called me tomorrow and was like, hey, you want to jump back on the team? I'm like, hell yeah. Like, you know, like, so I just think that comes with your work ethic, who you are, and how that company wants to brand and market something. But I haven't dealt with any racism in the sport. I haven't dealt with any situations that I can think of right now where someone was like, you know, who's a black guy I think he is. At the same time, like, even though I'm very, very like loving, nice, I still think that image stands for a lot of black people. And what I mean by that is like black people are thugs, black people are tough, or black people, you know, come from the hood, or black people are rough,
Right.
or like don't mess with that black guy. So I still think that plays a part where like not many people have ever really tried me. And like whether it be on social media or whether it be like not many people, like I've had maybe a few incidents where I've had to just kind of be like, you know, chuck it up, don't say anything, don't you know, don't give into that. But I haven't really had anyone just like on my social media talking crazy, like how I've seen on other people's platforms where
Mm.
they've challenged them and said things about them negative. And I mean, it may be coming, like it may be coming my way, and I'm prepared for it. You know, I'm ready for it. But at the same time, it's like I'm a zero disrespect kind of person. Like I will not disrespect you in any kind of way. And if I am, I will be the first to apologize. I'll be the first to say, hey man, like, sorry, I didn't mean it like that, or I didn't mean to do this, because I was raised by a different set of rules. Those rules are when disrespect comes, be ready to fight. That's it. If you are going to deliberately disrespect somebody, be ready to throw hands. And I will be quick to tell someone on my platform, like, hey, you'll notice me before I notice you. So when you come to that competition, just know if I think it's you, we have a problem. And that's why
Yeah.
I don't get into the social media stuff, because it's like I got a family. Like
Yeah.
you're not gonna talk crazy to my family just because you're on social media and you can just write whatever you want. It's like the moment I think it's you or someone tells me it's you, I'm walking off the competition before we got problems.
Right.
That's it. And however you want to look at it, oh, it's a thug or he's this, however you want to look at it, you're the one that took the steps to disrespect me.
Yeah,
Because I
exactly.
won't do that to you. I wouldn't do that to you for no reason. So, even with the argument with this guy on Instagram, you
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? It's like I'm being as respectful as possible, like, no matter what. Like the initial conversation started because they called me ignorant.
He
That's how
called
the
you
initial
ignorant?
call me ignorant. Yeah. So the initial conversation started because he was like, you know, you're ignorant. And he wasn't really speaking so much of me, he was speaking of something that I posted.
Sure.
And even through that, it's just like, you know what? I'm gonna be respectful. Let's have this conversation because it has to be had. And
Well,
so it's an uncomfortable conversation, and it's tough. And I hope he doesn't go any further, you know. But um, it's bigger than just me and him. And
right.
so the whole point is like I don't like disrespect, and I will try to respect people as humans, not as black or white. I will
Right.
try to respect you as a human, be the same decency.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to like stand up for yourself and protect yourself, and you know, I think that's all that is.
I'm just not going to do it on social media. That's just me.
Right.
Right?
No, I hate arguing on social media. It's the worst.
It's
Do you feel like do you feel like CrossFit is so white just because it's expensive? Do you think it's more of a socioeconomic issue? Maybe
um,
it's just not a.
yeah. I mean, yeah. Everything plays a part. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Yeah, a gym membership is $150. Am I going to pay for my kid $150 for fitness when they got a PE class at school? They play basketball, they play soccer, and they have practices?
Oh yeah.
Probably not, especially if I know I'm strapped for money and it's already hard to keep them in all these sports to keep them active and out of trouble. I don't see CrossFit as a resource. Now, if someone comes to me and I know somebody in CrossFit, that betters a chance of me taking my children and putting them in there if they can show me the benefit. But at the end of the day, I'm going to pay for a $150 membership a month out of the money that I'm earning and making. I don't have it, whether I'm black or white, more on the predominantly black side. And this is not going to do anything toward college. This doesn't do anything toward directly towards sport. Like, this doesn't assist us in anywhere. So I think it plays a role for black people in every aspect. And then at the same time, I'm going to look at CrossFit and I'm going to see white people market it, post it, share it. I'm going to walk in a gym. I'm going to walk into a gym of white people, white owner, white coach. And it just puts me at a discomfort. So this is where black people have to get uncomfortable and step out of their comfort zone and step out of their bubbles to say, okay, what is this for? Okay, it'll keep me healthy or it'll keep me moving. Okay, let me try it. But at the same time, and it comes back to the money, because I can go to Anytime Fitness for $12.99, you know what I'm saying? And do the basics to try to, so it's a lot of factors into it. But the biggest factor is that you don't want to step into a realm of something where you are the only one. That is tough for anyone. So why do you think church is separated? Because black people don't want to walk in a church where it's predominantly white, and white people don't want to walk in a church where it's predominantly black. So I just look at it in that same space. And you got to remember, even though it's church, no disrespect to church, they market it a certain way. We know what the Bible says, but how do you market your church? You know, how do you get people to see it? So, yeah, it's a lot involved with why you don't see as many people of color in the CrossFit space.
So what do you think I mean, obviously HQ is not really going to do anything, but what do you think we as a community can do? Like, what can other athletes do, or what can like affiliates and box owners do to like support black athletes, or B, get more black athletes in their gym and diversify their membership?
Yeah, so I have wrote this down in one of my other podcasts, but you can create a culture that allows systematic change, right? So it's just like, find ways to bring in blacks through the system, like let the system speak that we're allowing for different. And the reason why I say that is because, like, we had thought about doing a membership based off of the radius to the gym, like where you live. So, you know, if my gym is in the inner city, you know what I'm saying, like more predominantly black people will get a cheaper membership. So we can do it off the distance of where you live. We can do it off the income of your household, however you want to do. Some of them are harder than others. We can give discounts. Discounts will allow people of low income to come into the space, see what it's like, enjoy it, and you can bring them in groups, right? You can bring them in masses so that one black person is not walking through the door, but multiples are. And it can be a limited time offer only. Yes, your first 2 months is at this rate, and after that, this is what you pay. You get 10 black people in, we only keep 2. That's okay. Now you got 2 more people in your gym of color, or to mix up the diversity a little bit and to kind of mix the cultures and stuff like that. So no, you're not going to bring 10 in at a discounted rate and keep 10. I mean, you may, but like the odds of it slim, but now you're allowing your gym to be diversified in, you know, who is wealthy or who has what, and then who may not. So that's a way you can diversify your gym. There's a lot of nonprofit things that you can do in your gym that we have been speaking about getting into and doing with our gym, so that we can bring in more black people into our gym and more diversity into the building. And then choose your focus, right? What are you focusing on? Like, what is your gym focused on? Like, how are you marketing and what are you looking for? There's some gyms that look for people with disabilities that are handicapped. There's some gyms that market that, so they know this is the place to go.
Right.
You know,
they're going to have a coach that understands them.
Yeah, you know, like we don't market that. So if you look at our market, we don't market that. So you think someone handicapped is going to say, oh man, let me check out CrossFit Unorthodox? Probably not.
Right.
So it's just what you market, what you choose to market, how you choose to market, and what you're focusing on in your gym. And then build networks outside your bubble. That was a huge one. A lot of people don't realize it's like, I go to church, it's white. I go to soccer practice, it's white. I go to, school with all white kids. I go to work, predominantly white. When we go have lunch dates with all my white friends, we go to a white restaurant. Like, it's like you don't realize it because it's just conditioned. It's just normal life.
Right.
Black people do it the same way. When I go to eat, I'm going to a place where there's mostly black people. When I go home, I'm with my black family. When I watch TV, I'm watching black movies. And it's like you're in this bubble, and it's not allowing you to grasp different diversities to bring them into the gym or even create a relationship. So you got to tell your coaches. You got to tell your gym owners. You got to tell your members. Get out of your bubble. Go. Like, it's like I said, it was so cool because on the Facebook event page, like everybody on Facebook has an event page, and on the event page, it shows you like everything in your city that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I would see that, and I would be like, oh man, like we should go to like the Hispanic like night at the market.
Right.
So like we have the market in summertime and stuff like that. And so I'm like, man, we should like go down there and dance and hang out. And what happens is we just get out of our bubble. We walk down there, we hang out, we interact with people, we meet people, we share business information. And now we create this relationship that, hey, they might invite us to the next one. They might invite us here. We might invite them to the gym. But it's just getting out of your bubble and doing things that maybe you're not used to. Give me 1 second, okay?
Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
So you all have 15 minutes of free mobility, just stretching, warming up, get loose. And as soon as that, we'll get down the rollers, spikes, and runners to get ready. How y'all feeling today? Good. You just listening to this podcast? All right. We'll just hang out and listen.
Are you coaching right now?
Well, it's just like we just got like open gym class today.
Oh, okay.
Recovery day, so everybody's just coming in, mobilizing, stretching, and just doing some aerobic stuff just to recover.
Oh, cool. I'm jealous. My gym's still closed.
Yeah, we just open. So we got everybody coming in and stuff like that. But yeah, so build a network outside of your bubble. Like, get outside your bubble, get a little uncomfortable. If you have kids, this is the best time to do it, right? So your kids can understand different cultures, be around different cultures, and they have them, no matter what city you're in, have them all over the city, and you can just find them on Facebook, the event page, stuff like that. And then get everyone on board. The last thing is let your members know what you stand for. Don't get me wrong. Like, for me, it's not as hard because I am Black and I have a predominantly white gym. So it's not hard because they know what I stand for.
Sure.
And that allows them to build a comfort outside of maybe what they are usually uncomfortable with. But they know it, and I encourage it. Like, I encourage, let's go out. Let's have, a day out where we all go get tacos. Like last night, we all went to get tacos and hang out. But it's just like we're doing things like that so that we can show our community and get out and interact with other cultures and stuff like that. And I just think those things really help generally to build diversity in a CrossFit gym. And, like when you first market and open your CrossFit gym, you're looking at the 27 to like 40-year-old white person, normally. And, once you open a CrossFit gym, that's what it says. It's like, hey, if you are a Caucasian person between these age groups, come sign up at CrossFit.
Yeah, we'll all be here.
Yeah, and that's what it says. And so that's what people leave it to.
I've also seen, like, and I know not every box does like teen programs or programs for like kids, but I've also seen a couple of programs where like it's like more of an after school program, and if the kids get good grades, they can be in it for free. Yeah. And then so A, it's keeping them in school and they're getting good grades, but B, I feel like that also allows all kinds of kids to then participate and be in this space early on.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, like it's a business. You're running a business.
Sure.
So I'm not going to tell you give away free memberships just to
Yeah.
diversify your gym. Like if it's not broke, don't fix it. Like if you're doing something right and you're building your gym, don't fix it. But at the same time, understand like you are in a position where you can make change, where you can build a community. And I think that's what it's out on. Like if CrossFit is for health and wellness, then
Yes.
therefore it's for everyone. And so you have to find a way to reach, multiple people and multiple different races, around races, but different cultures.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna say that, like, yes, these gyms are all businesses, but like we're in the business of health. You got into this hopefully because you wanted to help people and improve their lives. And how does it, if your business is in good standing and you have a membership that's, if you're lucky and you're breaking even or whatever, how does it hurt you to then help other people and add to that community?
For sure.
Do you feel like, I know you were kind of like whatever about HQ, but do you feel like at this point, like, do you care if they say anything at this point?
If they do,
Yeah, like, do you feel like, well, now it's too late, like, don't even bother? Or like, do you want them to say
no,
something?
it's not. No, it's never too late. It's
Yeah,
never. I don't really get in the. Oh, it's too late now. We don't need your help. Like, nah. Like when the time is right, or you feel like the time is right, speak up. Say
yeah,
something. Like people can change. Like we're humans. You can be persuaded, or maybe they don't feel that way. Maybe they're just like, oh, we don't really, this isn't our issue. And then maybe something happens in their life, and they're like, okay, this is our issue now. Maybe they see a drastic drop off in money, and their feelings change. I don't know. Whatever it may be. Like we're humans. You can be persuaded, and you can change. And if the change comes next week, then the change comes next week. I'm not going to be like, oh, now you want to say something. It's like, thank
right.
you for speaking up. Like,
Yeah,
thank you for speaking up. What changed your heart? Okay, like, let's move forward. Keep the momentum going. But right now, I just don't feel like it's my space to go after a corporation.
sure. I mean, you have bigger
Like
fish.
right now, well, the people are what make the corporation.
Right.
Like, what am I attacking a corporation for? I'm going head on with the people. And if the people understand, the people support me, and the people support the cause of what we're standing for, then guess what? Your corporation is going to end up falling because you don't want to speak up on something that so many people that support you speak up on and feel a certain way.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
said, like, just imagine if there was anything to combat CrossFit. Like right now, we don't really have anything to combat CrossFit. There's nothing to fight against CrossFit. Like we had like a couple smaller programs implemented. We had like, I think it was like OPEX that said, I'm gonna do my own thing and my own thing. So just imagine if an OPEX said, we stand strong with the Black community. What do you think the Black community is going to probably do? Like,
Right.
I'm affiliated under OPEX. Do I like OPEX? Maybe not. But guess what? He supports the cause. He's going to help us. He's going to move forward. He speaks up for us. He's going to help the change that we need to come. I'm supporting that. I can definitely jump on board with that. Who knows? So you don't know what causes the change in the person. You can gotta ask them like what made you change, but at the same time, like it's never too late. You know what I'm saying? Like it's never, especially when you're fighting for something as big as this. Like
Yeah.
jump
Yeah,
on board.
I was reading another post yesterday or the day before from this brand KFT, and she made the point that, like, I mean, there are Black CrossFitters. They exist. Maybe they're not as many of them, but they're there, and they're paying membership fees, and their membership fees are going to pay the affiliate dues to CrossFit HQ. And she kind of posed this question. It's like, what kind of support is HQ offering them when, like, should there be money going to affiliate dues? Like, is that fair if then they turn around and don't equally support them back? I just thought it was like, I had not thought about it that way, and it just was interesting to me.
Yeah, man. But like, here's my biggest thing.
Yeah.
Working for a big corporation. So I worked for High Tent, and High Tent makes the bumper plates. And working for them, I got to learn a lot from him as a person I got to learn a lot from him in the business side of things. And you can't hit a millionaire with a sack of pennies.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you can't, like, with the cause that's going on right now for the injustices that happen, like, you can't come with some small stuff like, what about this situation?
Yeah.
Like, no, we're talking as a whole.
Yeah.
Like, I can't come to you and say, hey, it needs to make change. They killed George Floyd. It's like, okay, like, was George Floyd again? Like, that's how someone's going to feel. But if I come to you and say, hey, we went through slavery, we're the only people on this planet with the type of history that we have. And we're the only ones. And so if I come to you and speak about everything that's happened, it gets the point across. It hits you a little bit harder. It touches a little more home. It makes you feel a little more like, oh, man, this has been going on for this long. This is this. And so that's what people don't get. It's like a lot of people, in general speaking, white people are trying to downplay the situation by just speaking of George Floyd,
right,
or these recent incidents that happened. And it's just like, no, we're not just talking about that. That was the tip of the iceberg. That was what sparked everyone to say, you know what?
Yeah.
It ain't gonna be me. We need to make this change now. Like, what's going on? Like, that is what caused people to act the way they are acting, because it has been happening for years, hundreds of years. It's in a position that we are gonna, someone, me, myself, may end up like a George Floyd. Even though I've stayed out of trouble, even though I'm in an all white sport around all white people, it's like I still don't feel safe.
Yeah.
Because the system has been created to keep me in a certain position, in a certain way, and make me feel a certain way. I don't care. A LeBron James, a Kevin Hart, a Barack Obama. I guarantee Barack, like, I can honestly probably say Barack Obama probably thought, like, if I say the wrong thing, I might die. I might be the first assassination that has happened in this generation if I say the wrong thing. Just imagine a Barack Obama coming on saying, you loot, we shoot, to white people. Just imagine that. Just imagine Barack Obama coming on.
Yeah.
I'm going to release the military. Anyone out past curfew, they are given instructions to take legal action. Imagine a black man in power saying that. And I can imagine someone, or the United States would have assassinated him. Would have been like, we gotta get him out of here. He's talking crazy. We ain't put you in office for this. So
I'm sure.
Yeah. So when it comes to stuff like that, you can't just throw pennies at CrossFit. Like,
yeah.
As of right now, the black community is not the majority of CrossFit.
Right.
So it's like, okay, I'm not trying to fight a corporation, or, they need to speak up, but at the end of the day, it's like they're gonna have to say something. They're gonna have to do something. Like, because everyone's gonna continue. Like, just imagine if this happens, if this continues on in the next couple of months, which it will. What is the CrossFit Games going to be?
Yeah.
What is the CrossFit Games going to be? It's going to be so much criticism on that. It's going to be so much negativity coming toward something that is usually a celebration.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, people are going to be watching, and they're going to have eyes on it. And I think people are paying attention, and they kind of have their ear to the ground. And I'm hoping, at least, I mean, I think I'm seeing it, but sometimes I don't know if I'm only seeing it within my own bubble. But I feel like more people than ever this time are speaking up and, like, continuing on. So I'm hoping that the community at large is hopefully making a shift, at least enough of us to make a difference in the community. I mean, the certain part of the community will probably be what they always are, but
people are waking up. People are seeing it. People are understanding it. People are now doing the educational part themselves, going to the Googles and seeing these incidents that happen on social media, and they're reading up on them, and they're like, holy crap, I never knew that happened. Right. Holy crap, I didn't know this was a part of our history. holy crap, I didn't know this guy, and I didn't know a black man, and did this. We're starting to see these things that were hitting from us for years that they don't speak about. You don't learn in school. They don't tell you about the black history of the United States of America.
Right.
Why? Why? It's not important. We don't need you to know what we did. It's like your parents, right? It's like, man, we just messed up things. We'll tell you a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But we're not going to tell you everything that you might do when you was younger, like all the trouble we got into. We'll give you a little bit. We'll give you enough for you to know not to make bad decisions. We're not going to tell you everything, because if we tell you everything, the truth comes out. How are you going to look at us then?
Right. You'll look at them differently, and then the whole system breaks down.
The whole system breaks down. So it's like, this is what school is. This is what, as a black person, you have to deal with in sending your kids to school, public or private.
Yeah.
And so it's tough. Like, it's hard, because it's like, my kid, if I am not the parent that I am, my kid literally will think Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks, and slavery.
Yeah.
That's what my kid will think of America. Like, there's not much to that. And then they'll be writing essays. Like, my daughter came home, and I had to really, really control the way I responded. I had to, but she was like, yeah, I got to write this essay on the Pilgrims and Indians. And in my mind, I'm like, who gives a fuck about the Pilgrims and Indians? Like in my mind, I'm like, what are we still talking about this for? Like,
right.
They made me write an essay about the Pilgrims and Indians when I was a kid. And then I went home and talked to my mom about it. She was like, Pilgrims and Indians, like, look up this person. Like, let's talk about this person. Not Google, because we didn't have Google. And it was like, let me get this book out and teach you about this person, about this black man, about who invented this, about, and all these black people started popping up, and I'm like, holy crap. And I look at my daughter, and I'm like, what y'all talking about in Black History Month? She's like, well, we talked about Martin Luther King. And I'm like, well, you already knew about him, right? She's like, well, yeah. And I'm like, did they share anything with you that you didn't already know? No.
It's the same thing every year.
Like, okay. It's the same thing. So from my generation, from when I was a child to now, it's the exact same thing.
Right.
Like, dang, this is disheartening. And I just had to watch how I responded to my child, because I didn't want her to take that energy and maybe display it in class. I didn't want her to take that energy and then maybe display it to her teacher. Right? So I just told her, like, her and her teacher are very, very close. Like, very, very close. So I just told her, every day, I just want you to go to class, and I want you to ask your teacher, will we learn any other things about Black history? It's like, will we learn more about Black history, right? Are you going to teach us? Just ask her politely. We come home, I'll say, what'd she say? She said, oh, we got to get more into this, or we got to talk more about this. And of course, they have a curriculum. So it's like, we got to get ready for testing. We got to get ready for this. And so she's doing her job. I'm not mad at her, but at the same time, it's like, this is what we have to deal with. And then when all this information starts coming up on social media because of the injustices that Black people are tired, and we're ready to stand up and fight, and we're ready to fight. And I'm not talking about like, oh, I'm going to make a post, like, ready to fight. I'm ready to throw blood. Like, we're ready for it. So when this starts to come up, it's like, now people are like, man, I didn't know this, and I didn't know this, and I do this, and I'm studying this. And it's like, yeah, bro, it's been happening for a long time, for a really long time. And, back in the day with my mom, she was just like, I'll teach you as much as I can. I'll give you all the information you need, but like, you got to play it safe.
Right.
Her experience with white people different than my experience. What she saw what happened to her father, different from what I've seen in my day and age. So it was just a lot of things like that where it's just like, it just hurts. But a lot of people are waking up. A lot of people are speaking their truth. A lot of people are getting more information to learn about what it is and how we can change it. That's what we need, and that's what we use our platforms for.
Yeah, and I feel like now it's so easy with social media. Like, it's so easy to, like, I mean, you were saying before, we have to expand our bubbles. Like, there's kind of no excuse because, okay, despite what your physical community is, like, what's your internet community look like? Who are you following online? Like, seek out Black athletes, Black creators, Black authors, Black directors. You know what I mean? Like, it's so easy to at least expand your virtual bubble and like, hear different stories and like read about and learn about people that aren't like you. Like,
that's the thing though. That's the thing that people don't understand. When you're in that bubble, it's comfortable. And when you're in that bubble and you find comfort with other people that are inside your bubble that look like you, that do what you do, it's hard to step out of it. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, it's hard. And then not only is it hard, but most people don't even have the basic knowledge to do it.
Right.
Like, one lady posted and tagged me. She was like, I went through my social media following and I realized I'm only following white people. And I never thought about it. It never came across my mind. Like, and she's listed like a ton of black people that she could follow for inspiration, or that you can follow for inspiration. Tagged me in it. That's how I knew she made the post. But she was like, yeah, like, I follow like maybe 6 black people and I follow like 2,000 people. Like,
yeah.
Like,
you don't even think about it.
Now you get it. Like, here's the hard part of where this comes from. It comes from the privilege that you've been giving so long ago that you don't want to wake up and see and understand. And what I mean by that is, like, it's hard for a black person or a person of color to not see white. If I turn my TV on and I watch news, I see white. If I watch cartoons and my kids watch cartoons, they see white. If I watch a movie, I'm going to see white. Like, you gotta remember, like, there's not a lot of Hollywood big star movies that are all black casting. Like, we got Black Panther, and that was like people were like, oh my goodness, an all black cast. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
a couple years ago.
Like, that was a couple years ago. But like, normally when I cut my TV on, I'm white. When I go to the store, I'm going into a store where it's like, when I go to work, who's usually your boss? Probably some white person. When I send my kid to school, they have a white teacher. So black people are already conditioned to see and understand white. And children are already conditioned to understand that white is right. When you go to court, who's your judge? White person. Who's your lawyer? A white person. So if white people don't step outside of their bubble to take those opportunities to say, you know what, let me go watch a black movie. Let me go do this. Let me go seek out what we can do. And like you said, virtually, it's so easy to do now. You can do it now. You can go on there and say, you know what, I'm going to follow black athletes. I'm going to follow this black channel. I'm going to go check this out so I can get more information about what's going on in that community and that culture of people. But they don't have to.
Right. Because
they're in their bubble and everything that they touch and do is white. And I don't mean to make this black and white, but if we're talking about the big problem, it is black and white. Right. It is from slavery, whites and blacks, to now cops killing black people. It is black and white, clear cut. Don't get me wrong. Never have I ever said there's not good black people or bad white people, or like, I don't speak like that. But with that being said, it's like, okay, get out of your bubble, get uncomfortable, and find those social media platforms to follow so that you can get more information and you can build that. Even if like, think about it. It's people that think they know my children just from social media. Never met me, never hung out around me. They just find a comfort in what I'm posting on my social media platform and what I stand for. And at the end of the day, you don't like black people. Okay, I get it. We're both fathers. You like your kids, right?
Yep.
Do I treat my kids with respect? Do I love on them? That touches your heart? All right, jump on board.
Right.
We're both CrossFitters, right? Oh, you like snatching and weightlifting and cleaning jerking too? Oh, me too. Jump on board. And through these other things that we do, that we have in common, we start to unite as black and white people. Get a better understanding of black and white people. But it's like, until you take those steps, it's like, okay, we're sitting in the same thing. Like, we're not doing the same thing. And the reason why it's so important for white people to do it is because the way the system is set up is for black people to clearly understand and know their place alongside of white people. That's the way the system is set up. So that's why it's important for white people to say, I got to take the next step.
Yeah.
I got to post on social media. I got to let people know where I stand. I have to encourage my children, my aunts, my uncles, my nieces, my nephews, that this is a problem and we need to see the problem, address the problem, and move forward on how to build actual equality in our world.
Yeah. And it's going to be uncomfortable and it's going to be unfamiliar, but it has to happen. And I was listening to your podcast with the Make Quads Great Again. And I really loved your snatch analogy.
For sure. Again, right? How are we going to tie this into things that people know?
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, you walk into the gym, you look stupid. You for sure look stupid. But
We all did.
everyone, yeah, we all like, you for sure look stupid. I'm pretty sure there were some people standing over there looking at you like, in their little bubble with their little clique of people, probably judging you. And
Yeah.
you probably looked over and saw them looking at you and felt uncomfortable. But you came back the next day. You tried it again. You weightlifted more. You continued to do the movement as bad as it was and uncomfortable as. And the reason why I use the snatch is because I teach weightlifting seminars. And I tell people the snatch is the most foreign movement to the body, period. You can replicate it clean. And that's why it's a functional movement. You cannot replicate a snatch as a functional movement to the body because there's nothing like the snatch that you're going to do to replicate it. Like a clean and jerk is more so replicated as functional movement than an actual snatch. So therefore, it is foreign to everyone. Your body is completely foreign to it. And therefore, in order to get better at it, you have to do what? Practice, learn more, study, get involved, and do the things that are necessary. All the steps that you have the right to do, you are capable of doing. The same steps you can do when it comes to Black Lives Matter. Talk about it. You can share it. You can speak on it. It may be uncomfortable. You may get some ridicule for it, but you can continue to do it.
Yeah.
So if you're going to snatch, then you better be talking about Black Lives Matter.
Right. It's like the first step. I mean, this is a silly quote, but I feel like it still applies. Like the first step to being good at something is being bad at something. And like that applies to all of it.
Listen, it's okay if you get it wrong the first time.
Right.
Your coach has patience with you. Like, and even though you have different coaches, or maybe someone is a little frustrated because you're holding up the class because you don't get it, you just leave. You just say, you know what, I'm not going to try it because I don't want to look bad and I don't want to hold up the class. Like, I don't want to. No, you continue in motion. You keep moving. The same thing. You speak up. You didn't know what to say. You said something wrong. Okay, here comes the black person. Hey, bro, don't say that. Hey, bro, are you stupid? Like, are you crazy? A little argument kicks off. Hey, educate yourself. Like, and remember, you're dealing with people that, like most black people that you probably follow, you follow them for a reason.
Right.
You probably know if you say something wrong, they're not just going to ridicule you. It's usually your peers, the people of your same color that come at you. Like, if I said something wrong in this podcast, white people might not say nothing to me. But black people are like, what the you talking? Like, why would you say that? Like,
yeah.
So it's usually the people of your color that's gonna ridicule you. So like, I don't know. It's just like you said, man. Just it's okay to be bad at something to be good at something, and that's usually the steps that it's gonna take, and that's okay.
Yeah.
The whole purpose is that at the end of the day, are you gonna learn to snatch? At the end of the day, are you gonna say something?
Right.
And so that's why I said I'll give it time. These corporations and big businesses to speak up, I'll give it time because they aren't like anyone else. They aren't like the average person that just walks in and knows their snatch is going to look good. They want to look good off the rip. They want to say what's right off the rip because they feel like they have so much to do. So I'll give it time. And I'm not worried about them. I'm worried about the people that follow me, my peers, the people that are looking for answers and education on how to move forward and what to do to support the Black Lives Matter movement, to support Black people, and to get it to where we actually feel equal.
Yeah. Which I feel like is probably a more productive use of your energy. And I'm sure you're expending a lot of energy in the last week or so.
I'm trying to, it's right now, like I said, once you speak up for something, like I'm Black, I'm going to speak up for Black.
Yeah.
When the whole thing jumped off for CrossFit and the LGBT community, I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
I totally understood. I totally got it from both sides of why someone would say that and why this, but I'm not gay. So I'm not going to jump in that space. Am I wrong for that? Some people may say, like, you're wrong for that. You should speak up. Like, you should say something. But my first priority is Black.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have a choice.
Right.
This was like, that's my first anything. It's like,
yeah, of course.
I have to speak up. So when it comes to this topic, after not speaking up for other injustices, when I told myself I am going to speak up, I'm going to stand strong. This is what I have to do. There's no slowing down this momentum. There's no slowing down. There's no pulling back. I am constantly figuring out ways to keep my social media active, educate people on what has happened, what is going on in our world, so that we can get the justice that we want, that we need, that we deserve, and the equality for Black people to live equal under the law, as rightfully so.
Yeah. I mean, and that completely makes sense. Like when all that stuff went down, like as a queer person, I felt like it was my responsibility to be like,
I saw you.
hey.
That's how I found out who you were.
Yeah. And it's like, I felt like it was my responsibility to be like, hey, like, we're not going to stand for this. Like, I'm going to take that on myself because I have to stand here and say, like, this can't be how it's going to be, you know?
Yeah.
And so, like, I understand.
Right. I mean, listen, that's how I found out who you were. And I was like, who? Like, she ain't playing. I was like, who is this? Like, but I mean, that's how hey, listen, you did the right thing. Regardless, you did the right thing. You did exactly what you're supposed to do, especially when you have a platform and a following the way you have a following.
Like, my priority is, at that point, I mean, and still, but like, my priority is like other queer people and being able to look them in the eye and be like, maybe they don't have you, but I've got you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So, like, I think it's similar now. And now, like, I was able to do that for my own people or whatever, or other queer people. And now I want to stand here and be like, I don't just have their backs. Like, I have your back too. Like,
thank you.
You know what I mean? Like, I want to be as good of an ally to you as I'm able to be for, like, I mean, I'm not an ally to queer people, but like, if I'm going to stand up for them so strongly in the face of injustice, like, it can't stop there, because there's also like, well, then I'm not standing up for all queer people, because what about the Black queer people? I'm just telling them that only part of part of their experience matters to me and the other part doesn't matter to me. Like, that just, it doesn't sit right with me. So,
i.e. a global brand.
Exactly.
Right? Like, if you think about it, it's like, it's your global brand. It's like, okay, everyone, there's every religion, culture, and everything that can be queer. So therefore, I am going to stand for when this type of person is unjust, and with this, and that's how I speak of corporations. It's like, the moment you dive your nose into political stuff, you better speak on political views. You can't just speak on the one that you want to, because everybody wears Nikes. So when injustice happens, Nike better be ready to respond in some type of way.
Right.
Not only that, but it's like, you got major supporters that are of every race or every culture, every color. So it's like, you better be ready to speak up. And if you don't, then don't say anything.
Yeah.
That's just where I'm at. Like,
yeah. I mean, that makes sense. Well, I just want to thank you, because I feel like you've probably been having this conversation over and over and over again, and I know that can be exhausting. I'm hoping that maybe this one reaches some other people that your other podcast didn't reach. But like, I feel like you've been very patient, and you've been very, you're just like ready to talk about it, and you'll kind of repeat yourself as many times as you have to. And like, I just want to say thanks for that.
For sure. But that's having kids, man. Having kids, being a coach, like, you get used to being patient with people and having to repeat yourself. Yeah. That's okay. Don't get mad. Like, I gotta tell my kids 10 times before something settles, where it's like, okay, I get it now. Like, and that's okay. And some people won't get it on the first turnaround. Some people may not get on the second or third, but like, I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to keep repeating it. I'm going to keep bringing you more and new information and things that can fall on you that may actually settle with you in a way to where you're like, I kind of get it now. Because it's hard to take your shoes off and step in somebody else's shoes. And when you learn that type of compassion in life, where it's like, I am going to feel what that person's feeling, you will find yourself in a totally different light. And I feel like that's what I'm able to do. And I feel like that's what makes me good at my job at being a coach. That's what makes me good at my job at being a dad. That's what makes me good at my job at being a husband. It's because I know how to step into the shoes of other people and just feel what you feel and be compassionate with how you're feeling.
Yeah.
I love you. I'm like, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like we all need to learn, if we don't already know, we all need to learn how to empathize with people who are unlike ourselves. And at the end of the day, if we can do that, hopefully there will be progress.
Yeah. And I just want to throw one note out there. Go check out Black Wall Street. Just Google Black Wall Street. Look it up. A little snippet of information for you to have, for you to read up, for people to study on, for people to learn about things that happen in this country that were unjust, that were wrong, and that are still happening in a sense now. So check that out, and yeah, continue to push hard for the movement, man.
Yeah, I will. I'll go look that up right now.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for talking with me, Easy. I really appreciate it.
No problem, man. I thank you for letting me use your platform to speak up and talk on stuff like that.
Yeah, of course. I'll talk to you later.
Yes. All right. Have a good day.
You too.